Good day. How are you doing? Let's get to the chart. But before that, in the trade support second channel, it seems like the guys have started watching the tutorials together and doing Q&A sessions and all that. For those interested, check out the playlist for the trade strategy in the trade support city. They're starting from there. They give a week for everyone to watch the videos together, then they do a live session where they watch the videos and answer questions together, and for a week they use those tools in their analyses. Join your friend, check it out. If you want, you can learn a bit more. I won't advertise it any further. I've pinned the link in the comments for you. Now, let's get to our chart. This level has become much more important, and the entry trigger is also clearer. Same goes for up here. In 15 minutes, we've had enough range that we could get stopped out here as well. So right now, we could get stopped out both on the downside trigger and the upside trigger. Okay, first, before I move on, I need to explain the situation here. This 91 level has become a stop. The stop here needs to be really tight, and if we come here and fake it, which isn't unlikely, it's not unlikely at all that we come here and fake it and get stopped out, your mind needs to be able to quickly adapt and change direction. If, right around 4 to 5 p.m. Iran time, we see an increase in volume and a red candle, an engulfing pattern appears, or anything like that, because the chance that we break out of this range and start a trend with more volatility is there. Why? Because the ADX, this red line, the ADX has reached the bottom in the 15-minute time frame. When the ADX gets this low, it means that soon there's going to be some volatility coming into the market. Compare this area with here. Let me show you this as well. Let me compare this area. When our volatility dropped, the ADX reached its lowest point. Then, as soon as it went up a bit, again in this same area, when the ADX hit its lowest, our volatility started, and then our movement began. Check any other spot. Look at this one too. So now, based on the current data we have, there's a chance the market is about to become volatile. So why wouldn't you give it some weight? Why don't you say, for example, right now we'll only open a long position, or right now we'll only open a short position? Because on the 4-hour chart you can say this is the uptrend, this is its correction, and the volume has been decreasing. Sellers don't really want to be in the game anymore. It's broken here and it could go up again to test that 93.547 level. And on the daily chart, you can also say that we had a downtrend here, this was its correction, and during this move, the volume hasn't increased much. My RSI hasn't shown any particular momentum either. Both my negative and positive DIs have corrected, and they've moved away from their historical highs and lows. They could both drop to another level, another wave down. We can't say that just because our daily time frame is more important since it's a higher time frame, the probability of something happening is higher. Why is that? And this means you can also consider the possibility that the 4-hour move might continue. So when it's not certain, why should we stubbornly say, for example, no, we can only open a short here, or we can't open this one? The correct thing to say is that there's a chance of a fake out here because of the daily time frame. So we need to be careful. If we wanted to open a position here, we should set a tight stop loss and not risk more than, say, 25 cents. If we get caught in a fake out here, we won't lose more than 25 cents and we'll get out quickly. That way, if the trend continues, we can open a position before the break of 9,239 or even before that order. We need to have this skill today to be able to do this. In other chart conditions, it can't be easier. Why? Now I'll go to Bitcoin dominance. Then I'll set up the watch list for you. Today's video will be uploaded a bit later. On days when I have a video after the market, today's video will be up by 9 o'clock. I'll upload the watch list for you by 5 o'clock, so you can get it even earlier, maybe even by 4 o'clock, so you can check it, find your trigger, and open your position. That's that. Why did I lose my train of thought? Let's go. Let's move from the higher time frame to the lower one. If I remember what I wanted to say, I'll mention it as we continue. In about 18 hours, this one will close and our last month will start. The last month, December 25th, will begin. Let me take a look and see what happened last year around this time. All right, let's go. This is December 2024. After an upward trend, we had a candlestick that went sideways. So what was going on in our previous December? In 2023, after an upward trend, we had a green candlestick. That made sense, though its size got a bit smaller, probably because we had some important levels. Let's look further back, 2022. All of this has been our lifetime, you know? I honestly can't believe I'm looking at this from here. In 2022, after a long downward trend, there was a small candlestick. Now, let's try to draw some conclusions. Basically, there's no common pattern happening here that I could use to draw any specific conclusions. So, for example, if we look at the past, we can't really say, hey, this always happened in December. It was like this or like that. Okay, we can't do that. So let's just move on. Generally, December's a bit different because a few days are holidays, so sometimes we get a range for a while. But that doesn't mean the whole month is going to be in a range. It's just that for a few days, people are busy, companies are closed, they've already closed their financial statements for the month. So, yeah, we might see some ranging, or for a few days, there might not be much volume in the market. That's all there is to it. The fact that our monthly candles haven't gone below 80 is good for an upward move. It's good for a bullish trend. If next month we also don't close below this level, meaning if for 2 months we stay above this 80 mark, then the third month there's a good chance we'll get a big green candle. So for December, if things go like that, that's not bad at all. As long as the monthly candle doesn't close below 80, our situation isn't bad. Really, it's not bad. On the weekly, like I said, if we look at it logically and the market doesn't act crazy, we'll probably get a green candle here, maybe a small red one after that, and then a calm green one, moving us into this box area. We can play it from here, based on the 15-minute chart. If we look at it on the 15-minute chart, this scenario is pretty likely. This scenario is very likely. The rest of the setups, because this scenario is probable here, we're not working on this month's setups, and there's no trigger for entry. When I get a signal on the daily and 4-hour charts, that's when we can open this position. On the daily, there's still a chance we'll come back and test this area. The fact that it's taking longer now shows the sellers are weak. So on the 4-hour, we're still following the long position. Because you got this candle here, your volume isn't bad, and you're pulling back from an important resistance. So move. Why aren't you moving? If you're not moving, it means the sellers aren't really strong right now. By the end of today, we'll know what the sellers are up to. By the end of today, we'll know what the sellers are doing. The move toward here, as long as we're above 40,000, doesn't mean a crash or that Bitcoin is done for, or that we're heading for, say, 21,000 next week and then 45,000 after that. It doesn't mean that. As long as we're above this level, as long as on the daily we're above this level, and on the weekly we're above this box. For now, a drop in Bitcoin doesn't mean it's moving toward these numbers, toward here, okay? I'm just saying this so you keep it in mind. This small candle, well, it's Saturday and Sunday, so we can say, okay, there's been no volatility, especially now that there are fewer traders in the market. That's fine, it's okay. 4-hour check. We already discussed it. Breaking this level means taking a position, guys. Breaking either of these two levels, whether it's a long or a short position, on the 1-hour chart, this can't go higher. Why? Here, I switched to the 15-minute chart and set it at its lowest level, meaning the lowest level it could possibly be. If it moves and we see volume, we can open a position sooner. What about here? Here, wait for the candle to close. On the 15-minute or 1-hour chart, wait for the candle to close, then you can open your position. Do we have anything here that confirms, for example, that the situation is better for a short? On the 4-hour chart, if the RSI drops below 42.29, I'm talking about the 4-hour chart. On the 1-hour chart, if the RSI drops below 42.29, there's a chance for a sharp move, because our 1-hour ADX is also slowly starting to rise a bit. If it wants to come this way, our ADX will be even higher. So when this goes into oversold, the chance of a big sharp move increases. Do we have any place for a long position where we should set our level or stop loss? Not really. How can we have an oversold level but not an overbought one? Because the oversold level in this time frame is coming from our higher time frame. This is actually something I haven't explained to you yet about the oscillator. I said it would be a two-part explanation. But here, our higher time frame doesn't give us an overbought level. We have to confirm it with the candlestick. So we don't have an easier position here. The probability of a move up is higher. The probability of a move down is lower. Why is that? How do we have it? If you've seen the video about market hacks with dominance, you'll be able to make decisions much more easily here. No matter what's happening right now with Bitcoin, whether it's printing red candles, moving sideways, or, as they say, accumulating, during this time, when it's either accumulation or even distribution, we can't really tell the difference yet, right? It's better to just call it consolidation, right? The domain is moving upward. At the moment, it's about to break out. At the moment, it's actually breaking out. At the moment, when Bitcoin is closing above these levels, or it's closing above this or below this, at that moment, or when it's gaining momentum, we actually want the breakout so that we can identify the momentum. When we spot and identify the momentum here, at that very moment, you go check Bitcoin dominance and say, oh, you have downward momentum over there, but on this side, dominance is moving upward. So an Ethereum position is safer and faster. For example, Ethereum has broken out here because for now, Bitcoin doesn't have momentum, so it's riskier. Because right now, Bitcoin doesn't have momentum. It's risky here. Yesterday, we had a trigger here, but it was a whale without size. No stop, nothing. The position wouldn't even open. Okay, so now it's broken here, but there's no position. No, even if it breaks right now, there's no position here. I won't open this, even if the candle closes. Even if it dumps, it's dumped. I've missed it, because it hasn't given me the confirmations I want in my strategy. Only when it broke through and moved, and at that moment when it was closing downward, our dominance was also green. Or for example, Solana, how quickly they were triggering. Why did my mind get so preoccupied? Because the devil is inside. What was it? Now, sometimes you take a position outside, you use a strategy, and it goes into profit. This is clear from the chart. But while we have all these strategies, we write scenarios, we have Excel, we're filling out our journal, it's for those times when that inner devil starts talking. Just tell it to shut up. Make it easy for yourself. Tell your inner devil you can't say shut up anymore because you're not living your life anymore. It's living your life. You're just carrying it along. Remember that, okay? So, based on this, until Bitcoin gains momentum, why do I say it hasn't gained momentum? There's no volume. It hasn't even gone below this bottom. Even the RSI, for example, hasn't come below this level, so there's really nothing there. The ADX also hasn't picked up at all yet. This shows that the move is about to start, but again, wait for confirmation from that. Don't jump the gun. From now on, keep an eye on the chart. There's a possibility for movement. Yes, we got it. You got my point about how to look at our dear A-box. What a joke this is. This is really ridiculous. What even happens here that it turns out like this? There's a huge order here, but it's not a buy order. It's a stop loss, a heavy stop loss. Like, I don't know, $50 million, okay? And right here, there's also a huge sell order. Like, this guy has a $40 million sell order right here. The price gets stuck between these. When the stop loss gets triggered, because the selling pressure only has so much strength, he's already spent a lot of money here. Once it passes, there's no more selling pressure, and it bounces back and hits this important resistance. Then you see there's just no way to break through. The sellers take control of the market. The sellers come in and take over the market. So we're waiting for that to happen. It's not too far off. Whether it's for his short position or his long, or if we see the wall breaking and Bitcoin dominance is bullish, we'll open Bitcoin itself, or with those that are paired with BTC and are bullish. If not, we'll look for other coins or altcoins and find something. Now I'll look for that watch list and find it for you. And today, I won't separate the watch list based on BTC pairs for you. I'll find the ones that have momentum or are the closest to having momentum, because it doesn't really matter much whether we open a position or not in these few days. This week, USDT has had a green candle. Does it have any specific trigger or reason? No, this USDT chart doesn't have any trigger for now, at least not on the daily. Either it comes back and tests this area again, and then we see what kind of reaction it gives, or it goes down. Right now, it's not giving us any trigger to enter a range here, so let's leave it. The USDT chart isn't really helping us in the time frames where we want to open a trigger, so we'll say goodbye to it. What about the total chart itself? Why does it even look like this? Why hasn't the index been helping it out for a while now? Because the volume has dropped, guys, and also Bitcoin dominance isn't trending, so we can't really give it any weight. Bitcoin dominance itself still doesn't have a trend. Just leave it alone. If you look at it on the daily, there's no trend. This is a trend, this is a trend, this was a trend, but this isn't a trend anymore. It's just dragging on. It's taking a lot of time too, just dragging. Okay? Total 3, you got rejected from there and you're coming down. This is your entry trigger. I'm not going to move it. What's being lost here is so we can reach this 889. That's the spot where if we had a more certain downtrend, we'd say, let's do it so we don't miss out here. But for now, we don't have that. What about total 2? Let me see its 4-hour chart. It's stuck right here. Right now, it's one level ahead. Why? Because Ethereum is ahead of the other altcoins. So I said it wrong. Ethereum is one level ahead of Bitcoin, but one level behind the rest of the altcoins. So right now, total 3 is breaking through this area. It's already broken it, and this one is just about to break through here. For example, if you're not feeling it, you can open a short position here as well. If the price comes down to this point, there's probably going to be a pullback because I don't think it'll be sharp. If it is sharp and we haven't opened any positions around here, then we've missed out because it won't give us a stop loss. Let's say it doesn't give us a stop loss. That's a sign of a bearish dominance, meaning Bitcoin is dominating the market, standing over it, and with the slightest red candle, the altcoins get hit with a big red candle. If Bitcoin just makes a small red candle, like this one here, look, this daily candle is really small. It doesn't even mean much anymore. Ethereum is also making small candles, and then Solana's is a bit bigger. The ones I'm showing you aren't even among the bearish dominance. For example, AVAX has a bigger red candle, NEO's red candle is bigger, TON's red candle is bigger. These are all effects of bearish dominance. For now, don't buy spot. Just because it's dropped and AVAX is $1.50 or NEO is $4.32 or AVAX is $14, forget these lines. If anyone tells you this, just walk away from them. It doesn't matter at all. We'll only get in when the trend is bullish, when it breaks 7.5, and if the market is bullish, we'll buy futures positions. If it breaks 8.33 and the market is still bullish, we'll add to our futures positions. And if it wants to break 8.86 and the market is still bullish, we'll collect some more. Otherwise, we do nothing. I hope you've heard this line. Otherwise, we do nothing. I hope in the past 2 years when I've kept saying, otherwise we do nothing, you haven't ignored it. ETH is nothing without BTC, so whatever Bitcoin does, it does too. How good is DeFi here though? It's close out. Even its leveraged version would have been dead. Whatever Bitcoin does, these two assets will do as well. That's just how this space is. The rest of the long positions, like this one, are slower because of our dominance. And as long as our dominance continues, it means we can take short positions under this trend. Yeah, you can take it, provided that momentum picks up here. Right now, there's no momentum. See, so we're not opening it for now. If they come up and then come back together with 7 to 6 and with momentum, then you can go for the leveraged one. The good thing is, 1984, if you want to do it here for the line, what about it? No, it's too early. Thanks for sticking with me. Don't forget to like to not miss anything and turn on notifications.